Beruchim haboim. Welcome everyone. We're about to begin Be'ezras Hashem together on Daf Samich Vov Amud Beis. Starting with the last line Daf Samich Vov Amud Aleph. The Gemara is going on the previously quoted Brisa that said the Bnei Beiseiro made Hillel the Nasi, and they asked him the following question: when Yudali comes out to be Shabbos, and somebody forgot to bring his knife to shech the Karban Pesach, can he bring that knife from the outside into the Beis HaMikdash? Now, it's something that could have been done before Shabbos. On the other hand, it's something that's necessary in order to perform the mitzvah of Karban Pesach, to which Hillel HaZoken forgot the halacha and said, let us see what Klal Yisrael will do. And the Gemara now quotes that section of his answer. Says the Gemara, Omar Mar, it says, L'mochar, what happened was the next day, Misha Pischoi Tle Toichavloi B'tzamroi. Gedi Toichavloi Bein Kronov. Here it states that what Klal Yisrael did, they noticed, they observed that those in Klal Yisrael who forgot their knife before Shabbos, those who used a keves, a sheep for their Korban Pesach, put the knife inside of the wool. And those who were using a goat for the Korban Pesach put the knife between the horns, in order to then for the animal to then walk into the Beis HaMikdash with the knife. So on that, the Brisa goes on to say that Hillel then reminded himself when he saw that indeed is the correct halacha, as he learned that from Shmai V'Avtalion, on top of Samich Vav Amud Beis. I asked the Gemara, V'Haka Ovid Avoida B'Kodshim, by taking the knife and putting it, let's say, in the wool of the sheep, that's now using the animal that was already consecrated for a korban, and that's osir. Answers the Gemara ki Hillel, like Hillel used to do, the Tanya. The Gemara quotes the Brisa explaining Hillel's hanhaga. Amru alav al Hillel miyamav loy moal adam bo'yalasoi. During the time of Hillel, there was never mi'ilah performed on the korban oila. Ela mevia chulin la'azara u'makdisha v'soymech yadoi alel v'shoichta. In other words, instead of using the animal improperly after it was consecrated, so then to avoid such an event from happening, so Hillel instructed that the animal should be brought to the entrance of the Azara. Before it enters the Azara, then smicha would be done, and then it would be consecrated and shechted, or consecrated and then smicha and then shechted. So there was never a time that there would be a problem of mi'ilah. So too over here, the animal, before it was brought to the Beis HaMikdash, it was never made into Korban Pesach. Only once the animal was brought to the Beis HaMikdash, then it was sanctified for the Korban Pesach. So there's no issue of the animal then being used after it was already consecrated to do avodah. Gemara says, Pesach b'Shabbos hechi motzi makdish, but still, if that's the case and they only makdish it when the animal came to the Beis HaMikdash, here we're talking about where Yudali came out to be on Shabbos. So how could they sanctify the animal for the korban? You're not allowed to do that on Shabbos. To be makdish the animal for a korban is nire kemesaken. Vehatnan, behold, it states in the Mishnah, ein makdishin, ve'ein marichin, ve'ein machrimin, ve'ein magbin truma umaisros. It states over here, you can't be makdish animals for the korban or for bedach habayis. Similarly, you can't also be ma'arichin, giving an erich, the value of the animal for bedach habayis, or not dafka an animal, but to give an erich of a value that's prohibited. A machrimin, also a similar form of consecration that cannot be done. And also says you can't take out trumas and maestros. All this is Isser D'Rabbanan because it's near Kemasakin. Kol Eilu, or not only near Kemasakin, actually that's truma and maestros, but for the other things, in Makdishin, and Marichin, and Marichrimin, those are things that have a similarity to Mekach or Memkar. And the Chum said that's prohibited, Mekach or Memkar, because one might come to write on Shabbos or on Yom Tif. As the Brisa goes on to say, Kol Eilu b'Yom Tif, or it's a Mishnah, Kol Eilu b'Yom Tif, Omru, Kal V'Chaim b'Shabbos. All of these things they said you cannot do on Yom Tif, and how much more so on Shabbos? So we're left with the question, how was it that indeed, that even if you say like Hillel, that they only consecrated the animal when it came right before the Azara, but still, you can't be makdish a behema on Shabbos? Answers the Gemara, Hani midi b'choyvois she'en kavua lehen zman. That's when we're talking about those obligations that do not have a fixed time. Then it's prohibited to be makdish and machrim and marichin, because all those are also derabanan. Aval b'choyvois shekavua lehen zman zman makdishin. But when it's choyvois korbanos that are for a designated time, then the Chacham did not make a gezerah and said you could be makdish. Do Omar Rabbi Yochanan makdish adam as pischoy b'Shabbos v'chagigosa b'yomtiv. He said that you could go ahead and makdish your korban Pesach on Shabbos when your Dali comes out to be on Shabbos, and your korban chagiga on Yontif, which is the first day of Yontif. You can't, of course, be makdish and bring up a korban chagiga when it comes out to be on Shabbos, but when the first day of Yontif, that it could be done. If it wasn't on the first day of Yontif, then subsequent days of Yontif, al koponim, that could be done, that could be sanctified. And therefore there's no problem over here as well. But Frekta Gemara still there's another problem. V'halo mechamer. Mechamer is that you're using the animal together with your malacha. So therefore, by putting a sakin on the animal is now carrying the sakin on your behalf. You're having it do malacha for you. And that's osir. Mechamer, answer Gemara, mechamer kol achar yad. See, it says kol achar yad, it's done in a reva shinui, it's only midrabanan osir, and that they permitted it because it's a type of isid rabbanan that's unusual, and that was not included in the gezerah. L'chara. On that the Gemara asked, but still, why not? Mechamer kol achar yad nami. Even though in Nachanami it's not deraisa, but still it's also derabanan. Nihi de isur deraisa leka isur derabanan miya ika. Granted, you're right. Since it's klachar yad, so it's not mechamer deraisa, but still the shinu is isur derabanan. Answers the Gemara, Hainu de kaboy minei davar sheyesh lo heter min haTorah v'davar shvus oymei lefonov. Li'akro kol achar yad b'makom mitzvah mai. That's good for the shaila that they asked Hillel Hazokin. When they were asking the question, they asked, we know that when it comes to a regular shvus, an Isser D'Rabbanan, that cannot be done if it was something that could be done before Shabbos. But over here, since a person who forgot his knife, he would put it on the animal. In this case, he would say he would put it in the hair and the wool of the sheep before, so that the animal will carry it in. So that's kil achar yad. Since it's kil achar yad, it's not a typical shvus. Maybe on such a shvus, which is kil achar yad, they were not goyzer. That was the shaila that they asked Hillel. Or Marlehen, to which Hillel answered them, halacha zu shamati v'shachachti. I did hear this halacha once before, but I forgot what the halacha is. Just leave it to Klal Yisrael. If they themselves are Nevi'im, they are B'nai Nevi'im, and therefore let's see how they then go ahead and proceed. To which the Brisa goes on to say that they saw again the next day that they put the knife in the wool of the keves, and therefore Hillel says, indeed, that is what the halacha is. I remember now that I learned that from Shmai Va'avtalion. The Gemara now learns out from this previous Maisa that we just quoted. Omar Rav Yehuda Marav. Kol hamisyahir, anybody who acts arrogantly, im chacham hu chachmasoi mistalekes mimenu. If he's a chacham, then his chachma will then depart from him. Im navi hu nevu'osa mistalekes mimenu. If he is a prophet, then his nevuah will depart from him. Gemara explains, Im chacham hu chachmasu mistalekes mimenu mehillel. We learned this out from the incident we just brought from Hillel Hazokin. Do mar hischil mekantron midvorim. The Brisa stated that Hillel, when he was appointed Nasi, he gave teichacha to the Bnei Beseira, and he said to them, "What caused me to then come from Bavel to Eretz Yisrael right before Pesach, in a case where then Pesach Yudal comes out to be on Shabbos?" It's the hashkachas Hashem. But why HaKadosh Baruch Hu make it that way? It's because why? Because of your atzlus, because of your laziness, you didn't work hard enough in Torah to be meshamish shmaya v'avtalyan, the gedolei hador, and therefore you didn't know the halacha. Only afterwards he forgot it, and then he remembered it subsequently. So why did he forget it? He forgot it because he acted with a certain amount of arrogance. He displayed haughtiness, and because of that he forgot his halacha. We learn that from Devara Haneviyah. The Chsiv states, "Chodlu prozoin b'Yisrael," that Klal Yisrael desisted from still living in open areas because they were very vulnerable. Chodlu ad shekamti Devara. They desisted from that until I, Devara, became the prophetess. Shekamti aim b'Yisrael. That I came to be the aim of Klal Yisrael. So she was acting haughty. V'ksiv, and it states in the pasuk, Uri, Uri, Devara, Uri, Dabri Shir. She's saying, awaken, Devara. That means to say that her nevuah was left her, and therefore she had to then bevakesh for that Devara, that nevuah to return. Reish Lakish says, Kol Adam shekoyes, anybody who displays anger, im chacham hu chachmasoi mistalekes menu. If he's a chacham hu, then his chachma will depart from him. Im navi hu nevuos mistalekes menu. If he is a prophet, then his nevuah will depart from him. Im chacham hu chachmasoi mistalekes mimenu mi Moshe. We learned that from Moshe, who became angry. The Chsiv states in the pasuk, "Vayiksoif Moshe al pikudei hachayil." When the officers returned from battling against Midian, so Moshe Rabbeinu became angry that they left the women of Midian alive. V'Ksiv it says, "Vayomer Elozar hakoyin el anshe hatzova haboin la milchama." Elozar hakoyin, he then said to the officers who returned from battle with Midian. And instead of Moshe Rabbeinu teaching him the halachos of mekashering the kelim, so it was Elazar Kohen who did. Zois chukas haTorah asher tziva Hashem es Moshe. Even though it was relayed to Moshe Rabbeinu, Elazar Kohen is the one who taught it to Klal Yisrael. So Moshe Rabbeinu did not teach it because he then had that chachma that departed from him. Michlad de Moshe i'alam minei. It then departed, it became something that was concealed from him. Navi, if he's a prophet who as nuvosim mistalekes mimenu Elisha, we learn that out from Elisha as follows: Dichsiv lulei pnei Yoshafot. Now Elisha is speaking to the king of Israel, Yehoram, who joined together with the king of Yehuda, Yoshafat, and now Elisha speaks angrily to the king of Israel, Yehoram. And he says, Lulei pnei Yehoshaphat melech Yehuda, if it wasn't for that Yehoshaphat melech Yehuda, ani noise im abit elecha v'imereka, would I look at you? Would I appear to you? I wouldn't even look at you. He says angrily to Yehoram. Meksiva says afterwards, Va'ate kechuli menagen. Elisha, he asks, now take from me a menagen, a musician, v'haya Kenagen hamenagen v'ati alav yad Hashem. The pasuk goes on to say, and he played with his instrument music, and then the yad of Hashem then came back on Elisha. That means it departed from Elisha momentarily because of his kas. Omer Rabbi Mani bar Patish kol shekoyes afilu poiskin alav gedula min hashomayim. All those who become angry, even if greatness was going to be bestowed upon him, marinoso, they remove it from him, they take away that greatness. Minolon, from where do we know? Says the Gemara, me Eliyav, from Eliyav, one of the sons of Yishai, the brother of David HaMelech. Shinamar says, Vayicha af Eliyav b'David, that he became angry at David. Vayoymer, and he says to David, Lama ze yiradeta, why did you come down to the camp that is going to battle against the Philistines? And Goliath is coming out and trying to then trying to speak evil against Hashem and His people, and saying, if there's anybody who wants to battle me, come out and battle me. So Lev sees that David HaMelech is interested in taking out the challenge. And he says, V'amina tashto me'at hatzoin ha'heina b'midbar, that you forsake the little bit of tzoin, of sheep that are in the midbar. As a shepherd, Ani yodati es doincha v'ezra levavecha. I know your evil, the evil in your heart. Ki leman re'ois ha'milchama yorad. You came down to do battle. And he was speaking angrily at David. He truly didn't want David to get hurt, but he was looking for David's good, but he acted angrily. And because of that display of anger, he lost his gedula. V'chi ozo Shmuel lemin shchinhu bekulu ksiv. The pasuk goes on to say that when Shmuel Navi, he went to then anoint the king, he went to the family of Yishai, and Shmuel was instructed to then anoint the son of Yishai. So Yishai takes out his son one at a time, and each one, the Navi Shmuel says, this is not the one. And it states, Loi bazeh bocha Hashem, or bazeh lo bocha Hashem. Hashem did not choose this one. However, when it came to Eliyav, he uses slightly different language. Ube Eliyav ksiv, it says, Vayomer Hashem el Shmuel. Hashem says to Shmuel, Al tabit el mar'eu. Do not look at his appearance. Ve'el gvoya komosoi, and his height. Ki ma'astiu, for I have been disgusted with him. Referring to Eliyav. Michlal, the Gemara learns out from here, that until now, HaKadosh Baruch Hu had displayed a certain love for him. But once he displayed that anger, Eliyav showed anger towards David. Although there's a future incident, HaKadosh Baruch Hu saw in his heart this anger, and therefore, as a result of that anger, he was Yared Migdulasoi.